What is going on, guys? Welcome back to Sharp Sports Media, and the NHL draft is officially wrapped. Thursday, you had the first round, and then yesterday, you had rounds 2 through 7. And a lot of action going on, and Devils, of course, right in the midst of it, having the second overall pick. This draft was a little crazy. It was definitely more entertaining. It was definitely one of the more entertaining ones I've seen in a long time, because you thought Wright was gonna go number 1, and you thought Slafkovsky, at least most people did, that was smoke. They're just trying to get the Devils to come up, or a trade, or they're just trying to cause some chaos. But they really caused some chaos when they actually took Slafkovsky number 1 overall over Shane Wright. And then you're sitting at number 2 as a Devils fan saying, well, we needed the winger, but Shane Wright, okay, he doesn't feel a need, but he's gonna be a good enough player that it doesn't really matter. He's gonna help this team. But the Devils cause even more chaos, and they don't go Shane Wright at number 2. They go the best defenseman in the draft, according to most people, Simon Nemec from Slovakia as well. So Slovakians go 1 and 2 in the draft, and that's great for Slavic hockey. I mean, that's never happened in NHL history before, in the draft, having Slovakians go 1 and 2. I don't think a Slovak's ever gotten 1, let alone 1 and 2. So, pretty cool moment for Slovakia right there. But I know some fans are very, there's a lot of mixed opinions about this draft for the New Jersey Devils, or this pick. And the more time I've had to think about it, the less frustrated I would say. It's hard. The hard word to come up with, but the less the more I can understand the move. That's what I'll say, and I don't mind it. So the only thing I'm a little frustrated on is Alex DeBrincat. He goes to the Senators for a first, a second, and a third. Would I rather have Nemec or DeBrincat? I'd rather have DeBrincat. You get a 24-year-old who's back-to-back 40-goal seasons. Dramatically changes this team. So you probably would throw the second overall pick, maybe Zacha, maybe Boquist, maybe both, maybe a prospect not named Holtz, Hughes, or Mukamadulin. It probably gets it done. It really does. So, and I know they offered number 2 to the Flames for Tkachuk, and you get Brady Tkachuk. Or Matthew Tkachuk, I think. Excuse me. But you get the Tkachuk, one of the Tkachuk twins, especially after him having a 100-point season, him still in his early age, in his 20s. Difference maker. Absolute difference maker. But going Nemec over Wright, I don't really have that much of a problem with it as we go on. Defense, I think, is a little more of a need. You can never have too much defenseman. He's a right-shot defenseman, which you don't really have too much of. Very good puck-moving defenseman, which is starting to become our identity as a Devils. Progress more and more each day. I mean, you draft a guy like Hughes, you have Hamilton, Ty Smith, puck-moving defenseman. That's what we seem to go for, and that's what Nemec is. Very good at the offensive zone, very good both ways, can move the puck very well, can run a power play. So he's very close to being an NHL ready. So crazy enough, he could start the year on the Devils. I don't know if that'll happen, but he's going to sign his contract next week with the Devils, so he'll at least either start in the AHL or the NHL, and he'll have a chance. He will have a chance to start the year on the New Jersey Devils roster, and that'd be pretty interesting to me. But the more we get involved, the more I don't mind this pick. I know some Devils fans are complaining, well, why didn't you trade back? And there's 2 different trade back scenarios. You could trade back to probably 4 with Seattle, so that way you could still hopefully get Nemec, or you're trading back to like the teens or the late top 10, 8 to 12, something like that. For Seattle, they were apparently very high on some Nemec. That was their guy coming in because they didn't think Wright was, I think, going to be there. So if you trade with them to 2, you might not get Nemec. They might have him higher because there were some reports that Nemec was 1 and 2 on some other teams' boards. So that's not a guarantee. If you want Nemec, going down 2 spots, especially with the clock only being 3 minutes, really, that's a very iffy move. You're not getting too much back, and I know so. I'm not huge. I wouldn't be huge on that. That would be very tough. Then moving back even farther, the thing is with the Devils, they have a lot of depth in the NHL team for third and fourth line wingers and in their prospect pool. They have a lot of guys that can fill the bottom 6 roles, whether it be a Wood, a Bastion, a McLeod. In the prospects, you got Zutterland, you got Foote, you got Thompson, you got Graham Clark. You got guys who can fill that bottom 6 role pretty well if you need to rotate through. Same on the defensive side. Walsh, Olachek, Ball, Ethan Edwards. You have prospects who can do that. You need another superstar. And trading down to 8 to 10, you'd rather have 2. You get a better chance that you're gonna find a superstar. And I know some people are like, well, you get more swings at the bat, or you get more swings. But you're going down, and it's less of a chance. I'd rather stick there. Better chance of getting a superstar, in my opinion. And that was something I would not have even considered trading down to like 8 to 10. I think you take the guy at where you're at, or you would trade it for like a DeBrincat or a Kachuk. That would have been surprised. That would have been happy with that at least. But overall, with Nemec, I think he's a solid addition. Your future decor is going to look very good. I think in the next 2 years, not this year, but next year, you'll have Nemec there. You'll have Hughes there. It's going to look a little interesting. We'll see how long, if Severson lasts, if Ty Smith's going to stay in a year or two. So a lot of moving pieces, and I'm very interested. But the Devils were not done just with the draft. They made a trade to get a goaltender. They traded us. They swapped second-round picks with Washington and gave them the third for Vita Vanecek, the 26-year-old goaltender who split time in net with Washington. Only played 2 years in RFA. He'll probably get signed. Finished last year, not this past year, but 2 years ago, finished 6th in the Calder voting. This past year in 42 games. 42 games, had a .908 save percentage and a, 2.74 goals against. He's a solid addition. I like, especially with the goalie market drying up, as you've seen recently. The only 2 goalies available probably going to be Campbell and Kemper, and they're going to get a lot of money from teams. Jake Allen might be available. We saw Ville Husso get traded. Peter Mrazek got traded. Goalie market's going quick, so getting a guy who can kind of be a 1B, 1A kind of guy, still very young. He's not going to be a star stud, but a guy you can work with Blackwood, hoping Blackwood can return to form and return back to what we saw from him a couple years ago, being a top goaltender in this league. And then if Bernier comes back, well, that's a bonus. But you don't have to worry about Bernier coming back. You don't have to rely on a guy like Nico Dawes. You can let him sit in the AHL for another year. Say, hey, listen, we know you are going to be an NHL goaltender. Become the best goaltender in the AHL. Find your skills, and when you come up, you can be a top goaltender in the league. You're not just going to be a rookie or a young guy trying to, being very inconsistent like he was. He'd have a very good game and then a not so good game, or just be inconsistent with whether you're on the home or on the road, because he was very good at home, but not good on the road, Nico Dawes. So you don't have to worry about a guy like Schmidt. You don't have to go get a guy like John Gillies or Hammond. We had 7 goalies make an appearance last year. For 7! That's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. So to get a guy like Vita Vanecek, not going to completely blow your doors off, but can be a solid guy for you, a solid 1B guy, can eat up time, is going to play a lot of games, and is going to be a decent goaltender for you. He's had a .908 save percentage in his 2021 and 2022 or both his first 2 seasons, both had a .908 save percentage. So, looking at pretty consistent. Hopefully, he can be around that for you, and that adds another solid piece for this team to hopefully make a playoff push this year. That is what you're looking for. But now you're not getting Slavkovsky. You draft Nemec. You get Vita Vanecek. You fill up the goalie spot. You get another defenseman. You need, going into free agency, which starts Wednesday, you need a scoring winger. And that's why Johnny Gaudreau is a must. You have to go all in for Johnny Hockey. I obviously wanted Johnny Hockey before the year started. That's the guy I thought he fit perfectly with the Devils. And that's the guy you have to go for. Johnny Hockey must be a Devil by the time the season starts. He needs to be. He will elevate this team dramatically. Exactly what this team is looking for. So that's the only option now with Forsberg being re-signed by Nashville today. There's no other top three first line scoring winger you're going to find in free agency. None. They've all dried up. The trade's no more. You can't make a trade really for one because you just used your pick. That was a big leverage spot, number 2 overall pick. And free agency, you had Gaudreau or Forsberg. And I wasn't really that as high on Forsberg as I was on Gaudreau. So Gaudreau's now your only option. So you got to end up signing Gaudreau. That's the only drawback I'd say from probably drafting Nemec and not getting Slafkovsky is you need a scoring winger now. You need one. But let me know your thoughts on the trade for Vita Vanecek, the goaltender, our newest goaltender, and drafting Simon Nemec, or in any other parts of the draft. Went very D heavy on our draft, but I don't mind it. The more D, the better. I don't mind that. Get drafted another goalie. Let me know your thoughts on this Devils draft class, on Nemec, on Vanecek, all that. In the comments or on Twitter. Twitter will be in the description at jsharf_1216. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you on the other side.